everybody. We're back. ATI. Second week in a row, we're bringing back old faces. If you love this show, you remember the old version of it. We got another new face back, or old face back. That's Cam Pierce. He's still riding that Ovechkin party wagon over there from the Nationals.
I thought it was Matt Lodi. I'm like, he finally grew a beard. Way to go, Matt. Puberty set in. Did you move out of your parents' house yet? No.
No.
Not to give Matt Lodi a hard time for avoiding our show forever.
Yeah, so if you listen to Matt. So Cam, welcome back.
Thank you. I couldn't be happy to be here. I love this set.
We're not at the pool, but this is just as good.
I mean, we could be at the pool, but there's a tarp on it. It's November.
Thanks for the invite over the summer.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's a little cold.
I was supposed to set up like 4 different pool parties this summer. None of them happened.
Well, you
2020. 2020.
Back at the pool.
Back at the pool.
It's going to be a year for everyone.
That's right.
It'll be fine. So we'll get to your Nationals later on. Don't worry. We'll give you your time and space, and you'll probably go over, but that's fine. We'll start with the Patriots because for some reason the NFL let them lose on Sunday. I don't know how that's legal, but whatever. Before I get into my reasons why they lost, we'll start with Cam getting back on the flow of things. Your thoughts on the Patriots?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I have specific reasons on why they lost. I'm not the football guy here, but I mean, at what point are they just due for it, you know? It's never probable to go for a perfect season. And honestly, I was kind of happy that they lost. Get the monkey off the back. Don't save it for the Super Bowl again. Just get it out now. Get it out now. And at least they lost to a good team, you know? It's not like they lost to the Redskins, you know?
Oh, the Dolphins.
The Dolphins, yeah. I mean, but the Ravens obviously played a fantastic game. I mean, nobody expected them to jump out of the gates the way that they did. I believe it's 17-0 right out of the gate. And Jackson took me for a surprise. I mean, the guy can move. I really underestimated him. The guy can move.
Absolutely, Brian.
Yeah, I was talking to a well-respected individual in the community, Mark Morelli, about how good a quarterback Baltimore has.
Not that good.
But basically, it was like, okay, I think that a lot of people I talked to a guy, a friend of mine who works at the post office. I don't want to mention his name, but he always gives me lines in the games. So basically, it's like, okay, we're not gonna let make the guy throw. Let him run around. The problem is you let him run around, they won. So the quarterback run around, the running back run around, everybody else ran around. And you couldn't stop the guy. And it's like, yeah, those guys have a short shelf life in the NFL because you just can't do that for 17 years.
Oh, yeah.
But it worked that night, and it was enough to beat the Patriots. Now, Patriots game plan, they play them again, probably be in the playoffs. Will they do something different? I hope so. I think a lot of things will be different by then. But I think this is going to be the hardest game of the year because it's right before the bye. It's probably the first really good team. I don't count the Bills as a good team. Mm-hmm. I think it's the first good team they played. But this is the hard part of the schedule. If they go 12-4, I mean, they're going to lose a lot of games. If they go 14-2, I think that's a little more realistic right now. They're going to be 13-3. But it was a good wake-up call. And it's kind of like we're doing these high school sports, and a lot of these teams, they haven't lost, and then they get punched in the face by some team. It's great because historically they have the best defense. Matt will tell you, because he's a degenerate gambler and he plays fantasy football, that the Patriots are the 7th highest scoring, if they were a player in fantasy sports, 7th? 7th highest player scorer in the whole all of fantasy.
Wow.
That's like historical.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Wow.
So if you have the Patriots defense on your fantasy team, sell high, because you can probably get a lot in return. Because they're not going to be this good on defense, not because they're not as good as we think they are. We know they're not as good as we think they are, but they're going to start playing real football teams. Mm-hmm. And they're going to start losing some games, but because Mahomes was out and a few other things going on, they have a little bit of a cushion.
So you're all right. But my thoughts on it as I was watching it was, I'm not completely shocked. So I go back to 2 weeks ago when they played the Browns in that horrible swamp mud bowl.
Hysterical game.
Absolutely. 3 turnovers, oh my God, great. But when you look at it, those 3 turnovers in a row, 2 of them, Nick Chubb had 50-plus yard runs that ended with fumbles. Now, they kind of went away from him because of the fumbling issues. But you look at that game, Nick Chubb and the Browns could run at will, as well as other teams this year. Frank Gore, I think, had close to 100 yards. Teams can run on the Patriots this year. That's just what it is. So if you face a team like Baltimore, where they don't know how to throw the football, and even when they do throw the football, it's basically just an extended handoff, they're going to dominate the Patriots. And then defensively, Brady just couldn't get in a rhythm. How often do we see Julian Edelman fumble? Like, that's rare, and that was scooped up for scoop and score 6 points. So I'm not shocked after watching the Cleveland game that they lost in the way they did, because Baltimore does everything amazingly that the Patriots can't defend.
It's a fair assessment for sure, Matt, but I think one of the other things is the defense was caught off guard by just the hurry-up offense of Baltimore. They just work quickly. I don't think the defense could settle into a groove.
Oh, absolutely. And Baltimore, don't get me wrong, I was talking to my dad about this during the game, that Lamar Jackson's the closest thing running-wise to Mike Vick. Because when I was growing up, and Brian, you probably can speak to it more, you got to see Mike Vick when he was in his prime, whereas I kind of started watching towards the end of it, kind of like the Philly years type thing, which you don't mention. But throwing the football, his yards per completion average was like 5 yards downfield. It's like any one of us three could go into an NFL game and complete passes 5 yards down the field, even against an NFL pass
That's a
rush.
bold statement.
It's not. It wouldn't be that hard to just throw the ball forward like that.
Baltimore, I think, has a decent line too, because they do have some other guys who can run. Vic would run kind of like how Barry Sanders used to, because he didn't have a line to save himself. So busted play, people from Natick, it'd be like when Troy Flutie was playing. A busted play, he'd turn into 60 yards.
Okay, yeah.
The thing that separated Vic from Jackson is Vic could throw like Jeff George.
Yep.
He could throw, this, fake videos, but it was borderline, real. He could throw the ball out of the stadium. I mean, Vic was probably the best quarterback that I've ever seen as far as skills, not from the neck up. Obviously, with the stupid shit stuff he was doing with the dogs. But from an ability standpoint, he was on the cover of the Madden games. I mean, he was the guy everybody wanted to be because you couldn't stop him. But just like Randall Cunningham before him, guys that run it can throw. Takes a couple hits, and then you're not the same. And then when you can't run any ball, Cam, it's like a pitcher who throws 98, 100 his whole career, and all of a sudden he can only throw 90.
Right, yeah.
Wake up call. If you don't have great accuracy, you're in the minors the next day.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's going to be like for this guy. If you don't learn to throw, because you're going to get hit, you're going to tear an ACL, a PCL, you're going to bust your knee up, you're going to get your 4th or 5th concussion, and
Well, yeah.
you can't play that way a whole career.
It was just this quick sidebar. I got into a rabbit hole looking at Robert Griffin III in his rookie year, and he was running. He threw for over 4,000 yards and ran for 900. They went 10-6. Washington, speaking of your team, it was the future, the bright, and then he tore his ACL in the playoffs, and he's literally never been the same since.
That's right,
So
yep.
it's all it takes is one freak injury.
Honestly, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Honestly, I think he's still backing
He
up.
was such a big deal because he won the Heisman, right?
Yep.
He won.
First
I
in
remember.
Baylor Bear.
I don't watch. For some reason, I end up always seeing the Heisman Trophy presentation by accident. It's always like on the. It's always like on the weekend or something.
9 o'clock every-
and
the first
I'm
Saturday
always
night.
like ESPN. I'm like, oh, let me put it on Velocity. I can watch the car shows. I want to see a Camaro get restored.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then I put it on ESPN, and it's like these dudes in suits who obviously probably never worn a suit in their life. It's like 3 white guys that have no neck, a couple black guys with dreads, and one other guy. And then somebody, because I don't watch college football, because they're like, oh, this is the second time you won. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. It's
Yeah.
always these guys on schools that, like a Clemson or whatever, where when I was a kid growing up, the best football players were guys on junkie teams because they wanted the exposure and they wanted about me. Now with football, there's really good teams, and you're starting to see some of those guys comes out, but I think it takes them a few years to get going.
Absolutely. So when we look back at the Patriots, obviously one loss means really nothing, where they have a game advantage still on Baltimore, who's in second.
Yep.
Is there anyone, Cam, I'll start with you, that worries you in the AFC, or are you still fairly confident that the Patriots are going
I'll
to...
pull Dedham.
No, it's Rebel Week. Honestly, in the AFC, no. I mean, when Patrick Mahomes went down, I think that was it for me.
Yeah.
Because
Be back this week?
Yeah, he will be back this week. You're right.
The Bills aren't real.
No, the Bills aren't real. Sorry, Mr. Volman. The Bills
Bills
aren't
Mafia
real.
is jumping through tables left and right. They're excited.
Bills Mafia is real.
Yeah,
Bills Mafia is absolutely. It's the
Tickets
most
are still
terrifying
full
thing I've ever
price
seen.
if you want to go to a Buffalo Bills game. They're not free yet.
No, but to answer your question, Matt, no, nobody in the AFC scares me. I hate to sound like a typical Boston towny type of guy, but nobody else in the AFC scares me right now. Absolutely not.
And Brian, do the Raiders scare you out of the AFC?
They got 4 wins, and if the Chargers move to London, Houston is going to, what do we say? Houston goes to the West, and then Miami would move to the AFC South. It could be fun.
It's a possibility.
And the NFL said that's absolutely not going to happen, so it's probably going to happen.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we stand with the AFC, The one thing I do, speaking of LA, the Chargers were the team that were rumored to go to LA. They just put a whooping on the best team the NFC had, the second best team, the Packers.
Yeah.
So
They did.
A, do we still think the Packers are a possible NFC champ? And B, Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers, are we buying in on them for real?
You know, every week I get a little bit more in on the Garoppolo train. I do. Every week I get a little bit more convinced. I mean, he's still good for what, a pick a game?
Yeah, pick a
So.
He throws a lot of picks in practice, I heard.
Yeah, well.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
I don't know how he knows that. I mean, he's the guy with the camera who's going to get thrown out. He probably works for Belichick.
You don't see the camera in the coffee cup here?
I think doesn't he look like the coach of the Tigers? Not the Tigers, the Lions.
Bears?
Patricia?
I can see it.
Yeah.
Grow the beard out a little bit
Beard's
more.
nice.
You
You
got
put a pencil
you
here
got the
for Halloween?
colors and
For
everything
Halloween,
too.
you put a pencil right here.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
That's next year. We're
Gonna have the clown nose shirt.
Yeah, we'll get that for next. I got borrow your sweatshirt.
You could.
Yeah, there you go.
Good.
There you go.
So any other NFL thoughts before we get to move on? I know kind of it's midway point. Do we have any MVP predictions or not really acknowledgement?
No.
Too early.
Way too early.
I'm loving Christian McCaffrey. It's just, I love it.
Oh, I'm all in on Christian McCaffrey. That guy is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Really fun to watch.
All right, so Brian, we can kind of take our mic off, go take a nap. Kim.
No, I want you guys to be involved.
Now explain this to me. So, Cam's a big Capitals fan.
Yes.
Doesn't watch basketball, so he doesn't like the Bullets or the Wizards. Thank God.
Bullets, yeah. Okay.
Now, the Washington Nationals,
Yes.
they won the championship.
Absolutely.
What incarnation are they? Were the what? Where did they move from? Or were they a brand new team?
What do you mean?
So were they the Expos and then like,
They were the Expos and then they became the Nationals.
Okay,
in
so the Expos were created in I think the 70s. I think.
late 60s.
Because
maybe?
there was a Senators team.
There was the Senators.
Washington
They went to and
Texas Rangers, and then I
Yeah.
think there was another one that went to Minnesota.
there
So
was.
there's a lot
This
going
is the
on.
third incarnation of
Yep.
the Washington baseball.
So now you have the
organizations.
Nationals and 18-31 in May or June or something.
I think it was, yeah. Through 50 games, I think it was 19 and 31.
And you stuck
something
with
like
them.
that.
And what happened?
Well, to say that I stuck with them
this one you
initially,
might have caved.
well,
When the
here's
Red
thing.
Sox are out of it, he goes, "Shit, what am I gonna do? Oh my God!"
Well, here's the thing. It's Davey Martinez's second year as a manager. I didn't like him getting signed as a manager. I actually hated him being picked to be the manager. I wanted him gone after his first season, but I figured, you know what? Bryce Harper's gone. It's going to be kind of a new face of the team. The team. I don't have my hair. I can't do it. Bryce Harper's not going to be on the team. The shape of the team.
Which is awesome that they won
Oh, it was
without him.
fantastic.
He predicted this too.
We want to bring a title back to DC.
Washington, I mean,
And you did, Bryce. You brought a title back.
No, but I figure that the face of the organization is going to change a little bit. It's really going to shift to other guys like Scherzer, Strasburg, Rendon, guys like that. You have
Zimmerman, is he
Zimmerman,
the guy? He's like
Yeah,
he's
he's
First-
the original Washington.
first
original
ever
Washington.
draft pick in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, talk about loyalty. A guy who's had ups and downs in his whole career. He's
guy's
stuck with
been
it.
divorced probably like 3 times.
There was a whole stretch of his career where you thought people would think he never would have played again with the injuries.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah,
to hit-
and I believe he got caught with PEDs at one point, didn't he?
I don't know. That might have
I
been.
think that was a thing that happened.
That might have been before like the 80-game mandatory suspension thing.
Maybe, yeah.
I think
And
that
then
was
he-
Tim Foley.
And then he goes and scores the first run for the Nationals in their World Series history. So
This is true. Yeah.
sorry.
But so now, when do you jump back on the train? I mean, you get the hat in the room. You put the head on. You
got
get the
the
Red Sox.
shirt.
I saw Cam at Fenway, I think, a couple times this year. He takes the Red Sox hat off. You put the Nationals hat back on in August. When did they
around
They were a
like,
wild card team, right?
yeah,
So they were out of it for a
well,
while.
well, here's the thing. I do want to pat myself on the back a little bit and say I really did think that they were going to be a wild card contender at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
They make it to the wild card game, and they win that wild card game, and
Against
it felt
Brewers?
against yes the Brewers. They were down 3-1 in the 8th. Soto hits the
Off of
3-run
Hader?
double off of Hader. Yeah, the best reliever in baseball potentially. And it felt like they won the World Series. It really did. And then they beat the Dodgers in the fashion that they did with Howie
Awesome.
Kendrick's grand slam.
Awesome. I hate Dodgers fans. Hate Dodgers fans.
Are they worse
More
than
than
Yankees
Astros
fans?
fans?
though?
When they were at Fenway this year,
Astros, Dodgers, Yankees
when the-
fans. Which
Astros
one?
fans aren't that bad. I can
Astros
tell you from the
fans-
last 2 weeks, they're honestly okay.
Yeah, but when they walked into Fenway, they're like, "All right, where's the seafood at? What's going on?" And I'm like, "All right." And then, because I went to the Astros, the Dodgers, and the Yankees this year, and it was the Astros fans now have like an attitude, and I can't wait till this coming year.
Oh, yeah, especially Cole's gone.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, what's going on? Yeah, sure. Oh.
Now, I tell you what, guys, this was a loss for the Astros, obviously, but the people who really lost were the baseball nerds because A.J. Hinch should have never let Garrett Cole not touch the ball in that Game 7.
Right.
Greinke gives up the home run, then he walks Soto, and he panics. He thinks, we're going through the lineup a third time. They're starting to hit.
Right.
Guy who's pitching the best game of his life, quite literally probably the game of his life. They pull him out, and they bring in Will Harris, who was gassed up to that point in the series. He pitched almost every game in that series up to that point. He'd gone through the entire postseason.
Great numbers
almost
up till
every
then.
game. Absolutely, yeah. He's a fantastic reliever.
Probably his 7th, 8th appearance by then.
Yeah,
with the playoffs.
yeah. The guy was absolutely toast. Absolutely toast. So the baseball nerds were the real losers.
Our nerds are smarter than your nerds.
Absolutely. And I was so thrilled because they took. Sorry,
No,
I just
hopefully.
want to say, when they were taking Greinke off, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. Like this is their chance. Because even if they bring in Garrett Cole, the guy's never pitched out of the bullpen in his MLB career, and he's on short rest. I think they have a better chance of hitting Garrett Cole than they do Zach Greinke.
And he was a sore loser, huh? He had a Scott Boras hat on.
Oh
after
yeah,
the
he
game.
did. He had a Scott Boras hat.
And he's like, oh, I don't know if I can comment about the Astros. I don't play for them anymore.
Yeah, he said I'm
What
not.
a dick.
I'm not employed by them
Whoa.
anymore. That's what he
But
said.
it was absolutely going back to that point. And I love that you bring up the baseball nerd part of it because Brian and I were talking, and I thought that was this World Series. Everyone kept trying to bring it back to the analytics and analytics.
I know.
And then all the managers that had success basically giant middle finger to the analytics and
Absolutely.
said, I don't care. I got 3 horses and I'm going to ride them until they fall off.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think
this-
they did what Cora did last year. I have a hunch.
That's fair.
Which is great. And then you get a guaranteed contract, and then you get this ridiculous 2019 season. The Red Sox have. Let's give Steve Pearce a contract.
Yeah.
Oh, Evaldi, he had 1 good game. Let's give him a 3-year deal.
Seriously.
You know?
No, but I mean, what were we just talking about? Yeah, the middle finger to the analytics. I mean, the way the Nationals manufacture runs, they don't care about launch angle or anything like that. Just any way that they could get on base, any way they could move a runner over, that they were all about
Who
it.
won the MVP for the World Series?
Strasburg did.
What do you think of that? Was that he shouldn't have got it?
Oh, he was absolutely worthy. I mean, if you look at the whole postseason on 6 appearances, he was 5-0 in 5 starts. It's never been done before.
And I think this year, because I've had this argument with my dad all the time, my dad still thinks Strasburg was hurt every year of his career. Like, people forget.
That's what I think too.
People forget, like, Strasburg had Tommy John in, like, May of 1 year.
I remember in
Yeah.
San Diego
missed the
State, he was
whole-
pitching
It was his
105
rookie year,
miles
he
an
had
hour.
Tommy John. Rookie year.
Yeah, he was in college throwing 105. Tony Gwynn was his manager. Tony Gwynn had cancer and died, and they blamed Strasburg. No, it didn't come out that way. But Strasburg blew his arm out like the next year. It was just like, there's a lot of bad
Yeah,
stuff
so
all
it
at
was,
once.
like, but people, that's, for some reason, people always think, not a lot of them, but there's a general consensus
Yeah.
that Strasburg's been this giant bust in this first overall pick.
He
that was
he
down
pitched the
low.
most innings of any National League pitcher this year, but
And he's 2 times a
only
20 winner.
203 innings.
He's got like a career 3.19 ERA, but only 3 times in his career has he ever hit the 30 start mark.
Right.
But he's got 2 21 seasons. He's
Yeah.
led the league in strikeouts once, and this year he was second only to Scherzer, I think.
Yeah, he's got a career.
31.
Yeah,
right?
31 around there, I think. He's got a career 10.6 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Cole gets more money though, right?
Yeah, he
Because
deserves
he's
more.
27.
He's
28.
29,
Oh, is he?
28, 29.
Okay.
And
Where does he go?
He's got more work ethic, not more work ethic, but he's more durable. He eats up more innings. He's in the prime of his career.
What do you think he goes?
I mean, everybody's saying he's going out west.
Yeah.
But I don't think he should go to a place like LA Angels. That's what, like, Ken Rosenthal keeps saying that, and I'm like, I don't know about that, man. Can they afford him on top of Trout? On top of
You know who
Pujols?
can't? The Yankees. Thank you, Stanton. George, call me Carlos.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of wrap it up with, as a Washington fan, you have a bunch of free agents, really. Rendon and Strasburg, the big ones. If you could only keep one, who would you rather have?
See, I'm torn because you got Rendon. He's one of the best fielders in baseball, one of the best bats in baseball over the last few years. You have one of the best pitchers in baseball in Strasburg, but he's injury prone, as we're talking about. I mean,
every year.
The thing is, this organization was kind of molded around pitching. Even if we're talking about guys like Gio Gonzalez and Jordan Zimmerman who aren't on the team anymore, the whole basis was pitching comes first. So, I feel like they should be a little more faithful to Strasburg, but Rendon's don't come around very often either. But also Rendon's going to be more expensive.
Do they have the money to keep the guys?
Not both of them.
Okay.
The thing is, they're in a similar thing with JD and Mookie with the Red Sox. I mean, they could probably only
Who
keep.
are their big money guys that they have money into? Scherzer, probably.
Scherzer is probably the biggest one. Yeah,
Okay,
I think
but,
Scherzer's the
is
biggest one.
there some? There's no.
Patrick Corbin got a
Yeah.
huge deal
Which,
last year.
as much as I think we talked about on the show, I don't know if you were still on it back in the spring,
Yeah.
talking about Corbin, that might have been an underrated signing because as great as he was last year in Arizona, as much money as they threw at him, he was probably the most important pitcher in that World Series.
So he was in Arizona too?
Arguably.
Wow.
Obviously, Strasburg.
Because Scherzer was in Arizona too. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was drafted by Arizona.
I bet you Washington has some former Arizona guys or something. There's some connection there.
The Tigers had 5.
Every single starter from the 202014 World Series from the Tigers has a World Series ring with a different team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Not with the Tigers.
Dombrowski?
Dombrowski. My
Hey,
gosh.
thank you, Dave.
So yeah, we kind of, and I just want the last thing about the Nationals. Their bullpen was all-time horrendous throughout the regular season.
Oh my God! Don't even
And
talk
yet
about
they
it.
still found a way to not blow.
Who was their closer?
I mean,
day.
I
originally,
remember like I'm on one of those what the hell is it, Closer Monkey or something?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, their closer is now this guy, and I go,
Originally-
why is he available on every single league? It's like because the guy's awful.
Originally, it was Doolittle when
Yeah.
they picked him up. Then they get Hudson, who the Nationals were his third team of the season.
Okay.
In this year in 2019, so it kind of consistently became Daniel Hudson. But if Doolittle needed to take the ball, he would. If Corbin had to take the ball, he would.
And it was Chris Sale.
Chris Sale.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, wrong World Series.
So congrats against the Cam. He's now happy for a second year in a row.
Yeah.
He's got the boxers on too. Just can't show you.
So maybe DC United wins it next. Oh wait, no, that's no.
Bye, Wayne Rooney.
So getting to hockey, the Bruins suffered their second regulation loss of the season last night to that stupid team from Dive City, Canada. I know there's a certain play you want to get to.
Yeah, there was a puck in the net that waved
But
off,
I
right?
do
Is
want
that
to
the
just,
one?
Yes.
let's just go back to what your thoughts on the season as a whole so far. They're second in the league only because Washington's played like 60 extra games so far.
Yeah. So I mean, 24 points. Let's just say they're the best team and should be on the top of the Eastern Conference at the moment, despite the fact that Washington's played more games and they have a point on the Bruins, despite the fact that the Islanders have won 10 games in a row.
Really?
Yeah, they're the hottest team in hockey right now. They beat the Sens last night to make it officially get to the double digits. Wow. I mean, I'm more than surprised with this Bruins team. On third line grinders back in July, or August, I think I had the Bruins.
That's a podcast, by the way.
Yes, that is my hockey podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
You can do it right here.
There's just more work for the editor.
Oh, right here, Matt Custodio.
Jeez.
No, but I think I said that I was being generous when I said I think the Bruins make it to the second round this year. At this point, I mean, it's so early, not even a quarter way through the season, but they're looking at like at least an Eastern Conference final team.
And they whooped Tampa, and obviously the scoreline didn't represent it, but watching that game, Tampa wasn't in it.
No.
And most of the games defensively, they still struggle because their best defender is 60, and their second best defender doesn't know how to play defense, Char and Krug. But then you look at statistically, Pasta's first in points, goals.
15 goals in 15 games.
Marchand is, I think, third in points, fourth in goals, I think, or fourth in assists, one of the two. Bergeron leads in plus minus. Tuca's second in wins and first in goals against.
Yep.
I don't know if after last night, but he was at least entering last night. So it's statistically, this is a team that sounds like a coach got on him about not showing up for 7 games against St. Louis last year.
Are they still a top-heavy team that will go cold in the playoffs? It smells like it's.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to say yes if they don't break up the top line. You have to dispense that talent
Way
a
too
little
top
bit.
heavy, yeah.
You have to.
Here's what I thought. I was thinking about this the other day. They've got all this young talent that when they had those 15 draft picks a year, all the young talent like on the defensive end and like Shoshani and all them, they're all restricted free agents at the end of the year. I wouldn't be shocked if they package them together for someone like Taylor Hall, who's an unrestricted free agent.
Yep.
A guy that New Jersey's not going anywhere.
He was a name. He was a pick. Right?
He was the pick right before Tyler Seguin.
Yeah, first overall.
So,
Who?
yeah.
He was good. That guy was good.
It was. So I wouldn't be shocked if they put that together. Imagine you put Hall in that second line with Krejci, DeBrusk. You still have the first line. The fourth line is still phenomenal. And then the third line, just whatever happens, happens. It's more of a fourth line minutes-wise.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be 100% upset with.
I wouldn't be that 100% upset with it either, but I'm always so wary of trading for guys who you're realistically going to have for 2 months plus the playoffs. I always hate just trading so much for those rental guys.
You don't think it's great, to win a title in Toronto and then, have Kawhi leave and you'll never be good again?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
It was
It's
totally worth
exactly
it.
what I'm talking about.
That's what Drake told me.
Yeah, well, Drake has cursed pretty much every team to make it to the championship
king of the North,
rounds.
you know.
He's the king of the North.
That's what he said.
Oh boy.
So as we leave here, Cam, I know you have a final interruption that you kind of want to get to, I
Final
imagine.
interruption. Yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about the play that was the Charlie Coyle goal that was taken away because of an offside call. I agree with the call.
You can skate backwards, right? And still possession.
Yeah. I agree with the call. I agree with the officials waving that goal off. I think it's 100% the way that play should have gone. I want to talk more about people complaining about the goal not counting. Get over it. Get over it. I should not hear Mike Milbury on NBC Sports. I don't like Mike Milbury, first off, but I should not hear him saying, oh, the officials have been looking at this for 3 minutes. If it takes this long, is there really something to look at? Yeah, there's something to look at. The refs want to get it right. This game has been close the whole way, and they just want to get it right. So, first of all, by the letter of the law, the goal should not have counted. That is absolutely factual. Look at the play again.
What are they challenging, the goal or the offsides call?
Offside.
Okay,
Offside call.
so my question for you is, if the offsides call is overruled, then what happens? Who gets the puck? How do you...
If it's overruled,
Yeah.
so what do you mean? I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so you're saying that they were challenging the offsides.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go, no, it wasn't offsides. We were wrong. Then what happens? The Bruins just get the ball.
They just get the goal.
Oh, so the goal
Yeah,
counts.
so the goal
Okay,
would
not,
count,
Not,
yeah.
not the offsides call, but the goal counts.
So it's
But it
because
was offsides and then the goal.
It was
Yeah.
an offside leading to the goal scoring
Okay.
play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this whole discussion that replays are ruining sports, I get it to an extent. I do.
Can you say that again?
Wait, what?
I'm trying to be funny.
Okay.
I wanted you to say the same thing again twice, so talk about the replay.
No, this whole thing where people are saying replay is ruining sports, I get it to an extent. I know where they're coming from, but the offside reviews are a little ridiculous. They are. That being said, I still stand by the officials taking forever to get the call, but they got the right call. So at the end of the day, it's fine. My team lost at the end of the day, but it's fine.
Big story locally this week about how they don't have enough officials for high school games because
Really?
the parents are yelling at them so much, and they don't want to deal with the abuse. And I say, okay, you guys really need to, work on that. But we did a football game on Friday.
The first
And
opening kickoff.
the players don't know what's going on. Mark Mortarelli didn't know what was going on, and then we have the coach of the Natick football team didn't know what was going on, and then the ref who was in the booth with us goes, I don't know what they just called. I have no idea. And that's high school football, and whatever, so that's how it is.
Yeah, if the opening kickoff, if one ref is saying play on, the other saying stop the play, it's a touchback. On the opening kickoff, I don't get it.
Even
What
Peter
a
Monday said
mess.
over the PA, I have no idea what just happened.
First down. Okay, well, whatever. Cam, welcome back. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for joining us.
Thank
Brian,
you.
Matt Custodia. We will see you next week.